Muslim pilgrims circled Islam's holiest site along socially distant paths in the final ritual of the Hajj, the smallest in modern history, as authorities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia sought to prevent a COVID-19 outbreak. Only up to 10,000 Muslims took part in the Hajj, a far cry from the 2.5 million who took part in the 5-day annual pilgrimage last year. State media said masked pilgrims threw pebbles at a wall symbolizing Sitan in Mina, close to the holy city of Mecca, on the final day of Hajj. The number of coronavirus cases recorded worldwide topped 18 million on Monday, with the illness continuing its march after Australia's second-largest city imposed a curfew to halt the spread, according to a tally compiled from official sources. 6 months after the World Health Organization declared a global emergency, the virus has killed more than 687,000 people since it first emerged in China late last year. Fresh clusters have been reported in countries that had previously brought their outbreaks under control, forcing governments to reimpose lockdown measures despite worries over further economic fallout. Data from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare showed on Monday India reported 52,972 new coronavirus infections in the past 24 hours, taking the total to 1.8 million, with 771 new deaths. The COVID-19 disease has now claimed 30,135 lives in the world's second most populous country. The government issued fresh guidelines amid the third phase of reopening, which came into force recently, relaxing lockdown restrictions in areas outside of containment zones. Mexico has become the country with the third most COVID-19 deaths in the world, behind the United States and Brazil, as Latin America is currently one of the pandemic's global hotspots. Mexican health officials said there were 688 deaths for the latest 24 hours reporting period, pushing the country's total to 46,688. According to the tally by Johns Hopkins University, that put Mexico just ahead of the United Kingdom, which has 46,119. Mexico's population is double that of Britain, but their real number of infections is likely to be higher, as comparatively fewer people are being tested there. Premier Daniel Andrews has announced major changes to non-essential business operations across the state of Melbourne. Retail, manufacturing and some admin will close under Stage 4 restrictions. The state of Victoria declared a state of emergency Sunday and imposed a nightly curfew for the capital as part of the country's harshest movement restriction to date, while the neighbouring states of New South Wales and South Australia also stepped up precautions. The move was backed by the federal government, with Prime Minister Scott Morrison saying it was regrettably necessary to stop the spread of the pandemic. 3 ministers in Gambia's government have tested positive for COVID-19, officials said, days after the West African nation's president went into self-isolation. President Adama Barrow said last week he would self-isolate for 2 weeks after Vice President Isatou Touré tested positive. The presidency said on Monday the Finance Minister, Petroleum, the Energy Minister and the Agriculture Minister have tested positive for the virus. Health authorities in the former British colony of some 2 million people have recorded 498 coronavirus cases to date, with 9 fatalities since the first case was reported in March. The Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte is reimposing a moderate lockdown in the capital and outlying provinces after medical groups appealed for the move as coronavirus infections surge alarmingly. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque said on Monday that metropolitan Manila, the capital region of more than 12 million people and 5 densely populated provinces, will revert to stricter quarantine restrictions for 2 weeks. Starting on Tuesday, mass public transport will be barred and only essential travel will be allowed. State media reported on Monday the coronavirus outbreak that began in the central city of Da Nang more than a week ago has spread to at least 4 factories in the city, with a combined workforce of around 3,700, according to authorities. 4 cases were found at the plants located at different industrial parks in the central city, which collectively employ 77,000 people. Vietnam, praised widely for its decisive measures to combat COVID-19 since it first arrived in late January, is battling a new wave of the virus, having gone more than 3 months without domestic transmission. The special tribunal trying the 4 aspects accused of 2005 assassination of Lebanon's former Prime Minister Rafiq al-Hariri delivers its verdict on August 7th. The judgment harks back to an event that changed the face of the Middle East, with Hariri's assassination triggering a wave of demonstrations that pushed Syrian forces out of Lebanon after 30 years. The court is billed as the world's first international tribunal set up to probe terrorist crimes, and it has cost at least $600 million since it opened its doors in 2009 following a UN Security Council resolution. A gun battle between the IS fighters and Afghan security forces raged at a prison in the eastern city of Jalalabad on Monday, with at least 24 people killed after the militants' overnight assault led to a mass jailbreak. The attack began on Sunday evening with a car bomb detonated at the entrance to the prison, and there were numerous other blasts heard as the militants opened fire on security guards. According to a lawmaker in the capital of Nangarhar province, some 30 militants involved in the attack on the prison, where some 2,000 prisoners were held. The White House and President Donald Trump's campaign on Monday sought to shut down the Republican president's musings on delaying the 2020 vote, saying there will be an election on November 3rd. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said the U.S. leader was raising concerns about mail-in ballots when he floated the idea of delaying the U.S. vote. Presidential campaign advisor Jason Miller echoed the sentiment, saying the election is going to be on November 3rd and President Trump wants the election to be on November 3rd. Isaias Ice, downgraded from a hurricane but still a powerful tropical storm, has gathered strength as it progressed north to northwestward just east of the central coast of Florida, packing strong winds and rain. The National Hurricane Center said the center of the storm is expected to move offshore of the coast of Georgia and southern South Carolina on Monday, before continuing inland over eastern North Carolina on Monday evening. The center said tropical storm was on Sunday about 105 kilometers southeast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, heading north-northwestward with top sustained winds of 110 kilometers per hour. The storm is expected to move upward along the east coast and reach Washington, Philadelphia and New York City on Tuesday, before moving into New England. Oil prices fell on Monday on oversupply worries as OPEC and its allies are set to wind back output cuts in August, and a rise in worldwide COVID-19 cases points to a slower pickup in demand. Brent crude futures slid 27 cents to $43.25 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures went down 34 cents at $39.93 per barrel. Brent posted a 4th month of gains in July, and U.S. crude posted a 3rd, as both rose from depths hit in April, when much of the world was in lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic.